Applause galore amidst expectations of a better future resound as the current administration of President Bola Tinubu prepares to mark 1 year in office. Youth give thumbs up to the fight against corruption, plus updates from the world of sports. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Thank you for joining us. When President Bola Tinubu was sworn in May 29, 2023, he was cleared in his inaugural speech to carry out an overhauling of the nation's economy and infrastructural landscape. This was again reaffirmed by the president when he signed into law the 2024 appropriation bill. With just 3 weeks and 2 days to 1 year in office, major infrastructural projects ongoing and Naira appreciating, putting smiles on the faces of Nigerians.
To pay attention to education, health, and road infrastructure, you are resuscitating the economy and making sure the ordinary people are carried along. To me, as a politician and head of state, there is no holiday when I was campaigning for this job.
President Bola Tinubu is set to mark his 1 year in office on May 29 by inaugurating some landmark projects of national relevance embarked upon by his government. Having declared his intention to speedily develop the economy through the provision of key infrastructure across all sectors, President Bola Tinubu and his team of ministers and other appointees hit the ground running, with projects crisscrossing the country. With me in the studio to discuss the 1 year in office of the Tinubu administration is a public policy analyst, Justice Ogwe. Justice, thank you so much for joining us on Panorama.
Thank you.
Now let's talk about his 1 year in office. Would you say he has done so well in critical areas? Let's begin with infrastructure.
Yeah, thank you. So far, the president has done tremendously well in the areas of infrastructure. And speaking categorically, I will start with most of his recent projects. We have Abuja Metro, which is ready for takeoff. We can see the Lagos-Calabar coastal road that comprise a railway track in the middle, which is about 10 lanes. It's already becoming a reality. And also, there are so many renovation going on around the country for dilapidated roads. So far, he has done so well, and he is still doing more. We have commissioned many projects, and we also have ongoing project from Lagos to Sokoto as we speak right now.
Interesting. Now, in January, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group projected that Nigeria's gross domestic product will grow at 3.50% in 2024. Now, growing the economy seems to be a challenge across the globe, with Nigeria not an exception. Would you say he has been able to stem the tide since he assumed office economically?
Well, despite the global economic meltdown, the president has done so well. In the April 2024, last month precisely, the Naira was named as the world best performing currency according to the World Global Investment Bank and also Goldman Sachs. And going forward, we can see the impact as we speak right now. Our GDP has increased by 3.4%. So that is sustainable to the projection.
Okay, now let's talk about another critical aspect, education. Now, the student loan scheme implementation is a very important aspect of this initiative. Do you see his administration achieving this goal?
Yes, According to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's manifesto during his campaign, he said one of his core principles is carrying the common man along. And so far, he has fulfilled that promise. Signing the student loan into law is a way of giving the hopeless man hope to pursue his education, his or her education to the highest level. So he is doing the right thing, and I see that coming into reality very soon.
Very soon.
Yes.
Well, it is said that services sector will remain the economy's key driver, while the anticipated rebound of the country's oil sector will push stronger real GDP growth in 2024. How realistic is this?
Realistically speaking, our oil importation has reduced by 50% or more than, and our local refining has increased by 8%. And as we speak right now, Dangote Refinery and Port Harcourt Refinery are crushing down the diesel prices, and premium motor spirit will soon set in this month, May. So everything is in conformity with the policies that have been put out so far.
Okay, let's look at another sector, security. How are we faring under his watch?
I will give the president thumbs up in terms of security.
Okay.
In the northwest, banditry has become something of the past. I mean, right now they are being tracked down to their locations, arrested by military, and also tried. In the northeast, Boko Haram has been reduced to a mere threat. If you go across to the southeast, you can see that Sita Omar has merely become something not serious as it used to be. And also, all around, we can include a case of the death of some of our gallant soldiers in Delta State and how he was able to undo it. So security-wise, the president has done so well and the country has improved. Even last year, December, a lot of people traveled by road, and we had so many testimonials from what the president has done so far.
Okay. Now, before I take you on the issue of corruption, let's talk about the removal of fuel subsidy. Do you think this has achieved its goal in the economy?
Yes.
Okay.
Fuel subsidy was the cancerous worm that was hitting deep our economy. And the president removing it has actually improved in production and also in the FAAC allocation. So far, we are beginning to see the effects of that policy, though it was a very difficult policy, but it was very courageous by taking the bull by the horn. So the fuel subsidy that he removed is actually yielding forth positive results. And we can also see that in our local production in such areas that it affects common man, like the foods we eat every day, like rice, also things we use like cement, which has affected the price reduction in those areas, even noodles and sundry staples.
Interesting. Now, let's talk about corruption. You know, the EFCC is doing so much under Mr. President's watch to ensure that corrupt persons are brought to book. Do you see us winning this war before his tenure elapses?
It is a gradual process. The most important thing is getting started.
Okay.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the steps. So the president has put in the adequate policies and appointed the right person to steer the affairs of the agency. Right now, we have to commend his efforts and his neutrality in this case, because we've had cases of even his own government officials being tried, and he has not intervened, thereby allowing proper neutrality and transparency in governance.
That's very true. Now, let's talk about still on efforts of the EFCC. There's the issue of Naira mutilation and abuse, and the Commission has actually recorded some successes in this area. Let's have your take on this effort.
Well, I will commend the effort of the EFCC. Before now, I think many Nigerians don't know that Naira mutilation was a serious crime. But right now, they are putting on effort to clamp down the abusers of Naira, and it's not an easy task. We have to commend them because they are really going after them, and we can see the results from across the globe. Some people have been tried, and some people are ongoing trials so far.
So far. Now, you are a Nigerian, and I would like to ask you this personal question. Are there areas you would like the present administration to work on to make the lives of Nigerians better?
Yes. In as much as I commend the president's effort and his team, I also want to implore the Minister of Power to sit up. I think that is the area that is majorly affecting Nigerians so much, especially with the hike, the tariff increase, and in return, citizens are not getting value of what is being paid. So it's a very serious case of being in band A that you are paying 225 naira per kilowatts, and you are not even getting up to 4 hours lights per day. It's a very serious problem that needs to be tackled, because a constant supply of electricity can actually increase production in the country, thereby boosting our economic growth and sustainability.
You know, for every administration to succeed, it's like a value chain. We all have to contribute. You put in your own quota, I put in my own quota for the administration to succeed. Now, in succeeding, what is expected of Nigerians? You are a Nigerian, I am a Nigerian, we are Nigerians. What is expected of us to make this administration succeed and achieve its mandate?
Well, just like a human body, we have different parts, but all are for the edification of the body. For the country to move forward and succeed, we must cooperate. We citizens must join hands together with the president to drive the country forward. We must come together to understand, even the private sector, that only the government cannot drive the economy or the country forward alone. So we must come together and join hands, just like other countries that have once gone through these stages. I can make citations to most countries. You can have China for a case study. They came together, and today they have one of the fastest developers in the whole world. And this reform, their reform took place during the tenure of Chairman Mao Zedong. And even USA too, they've gone through their own phase, and a lot of countries. So ours is not an exception, but all we need to do is to come together and cooperate with the presidents, thereby driving the country forward.
Interesting. Justice Argue, public policy analyst, I want to thank you so much for joining us on Panorama this afternoon. Thank you. We do appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Moving on, the Niger Delta Progressive Youth Leadership Foundation says the steps taken so far by the current leadership of the EFCC has demonstrated doggedness in the fight against corruption, and it's the support of well-meaning Nigerians. National President of the Foundation, Diplomat Adam Ogumogo Mabo, gave the commendation at a briefing in Abuja.
I wish to commend the present chairman of the EFCC, Mr. Ola Olukoyede, for stringently working hard to restore proper accountability, transparency, and sanity in the country. On this note, we call Nigerians to give more strength and total support to the EFCC and ICPC to recover all public funds and deal with anyone who has occupied one office or the others that has embezzled public funds to the detriment of our people.
Foundation notes that the Tinubu administration means well for the prosperity of the country and needs some degree of patience from all. You're watching Panorama, reaching you live from Abuja. Let's take a breather. The news continues shortly.
The counsel of our fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days you probably do not know what it is.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
You're still watching Panorama on NTA. Now to infrastructure projects. Following a directive by the Minister of Works, David Umahi, on revocation of old contracts and signing of new ones, the Federation of Construction Industry of Nigeria had a meeting with the Minister on issues affecting existing contracts to lay out modalities on how to expedite action on resumption of work. President of the Federation of Construction Industry in Nigeria, Bara Vincent, says contractual issues affecting members had to be discussed with the minister, as most jobs are no longer ongoing, raising their concerns with the ministry.
Work is our employer, and he has his views on issues and approach. And as a federation, we have to discuss with him based on the current realities.
Then expressed delight over the engagement, noting that they are optimistic of a positive outcome. Now to military relations. The National Defense College is promoting military bilateral relations and cultural diplomacy to strengthen synergy among allied nations in the quest for regional peace and security. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that this was a focus of the 2024 International Day for COS 32. National Defense College, Abuja, the commandant of the college and the Minister of Foreign Affairs emphasized that cultural exchange is an important tool in fostering peace and unity.
One nation, it affects the entire globe. United, we must stand and we must face our common challenges. Even as we celebrate together, let us also fight against those ones that don't want us to have peace.
If we can have diplomatic ties with countries in the region, that will ultimately create better understanding, better cooperation, and when the need will come, we'll easily enjoy the best of cooperation.
Similarly, the Army War College Nigeria also organized its International Day for COS 8 2024 to further foster unity among participating officers and militaries of allied countries.
I will urge you to commit to working together so that you can ensure a more prosperous, peaceful and sustainable future for all.
Chiefs of nations commit to building a better civil-military relations within the African continent. Now, the current security situation in Nigeria has continued to raise concerns for immediate solutions. While the situation is begging for a concerted effort and support of all Nigerians, many are demanding for the establishment of a state policing structure in addressing the challenges. Security experts say state policing is beyond necessity.
The security apparatus of any nation determines the pace and strength of development economically and politically. Nigeria and her citizenry have for some time now come under perceived siege of terrorism, with insurgents masquerading as bandits. This has generated a lot of concerns, leading to debates on possible way out, with community and state policing structure as viable alternatives.
Technological factors, human factors, and the processes. If we don't have those three things in place to ensure that the security agent and the police officers that are going to be employed to carry out these state policing duties are not effectively managed, let's forget about state policing.
Look at the country. We are 200 million people. It's a vast land. And how many people are in the police? You overstretch them. But if we have the state police, we have more people coming, we'll be able to remove some of those things from the center and spread it.
In Lagos State, for instance, there is an established community security structure to curb crime at the grassroots level. And this has, to a large extent, ensured the protection of lives and property.
Amotekun is there. All kinds, they are in different states. So Whether you call it state policing or whatever name you give it, it shouldn't be seen as being competitive with the Nigerian police. Instead, it should be seen as being cooperative.
While a school of thought believe Nigeria is not ripe for such structure, others consider the idea as a potential milestone in the evolution of a nation's law enforcement framework that would create the opportunity to closely address the various demands of communities across the country.
To drug interception, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have smashed an international drug syndicate with national and international networks. An ex-convict was also nabbed with various illicit drugs. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim has details.
The unraveling of the drug cartel started on 20th of April when their cargo of 4 suitcases containing a total of 17.6 kilograms of loud and drug candies arrived at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. No fewer than 5 members of the cartel were arrested in an intelligence-led operations that lasted 2 weeks in Lagos, Abia, and Anambra states. Meanwhile, NDLEA operatives on stop-and-search operation along Abuja-Abaji Highway on 1st May intercepted a 40-feet gas tanker. Upon a thorough search, 511 jumbo sacks of cannabis sativa were discovered coming from Ondo State and meant to be delivered in Abuja for further distribution. 4 suspects were arrested in connection with the consignment. Also during the week under review in Osun State, NDLEA arrested a 51-year-old ex-convict who is currently facing trial for another drug offense at the Federal High Court. At the time of his latest arrest, 4.4 grams of cocaine, 28.5 kilograms of cannabis sativa, 20 tabs of Rofinol weighing 6.2 grams, and 812 pills of tramadol were all found in his possession. Different illicit substances were intercepted in Kano, Kaduna, Osun, Seme, Bayelsa, Bauchi, and Benue states. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Talking sports, Nigerian sprinters talk tough ahead of Paris 2024 Olympics as Chelsea and Liverpool win big in the English Premier League. Details with Bade Adeleye on Sports Updates.
Nigeria's mixed and men's 4x400 meters relay teams have declared they will not be in Paris to make up their numbers after picking their tickets to the Olympics on Saturday night at the World Relays in the Bahamas. Both teams finished second in their respective heats to seal their passage to the Olympics.
Oh, I feel happy because we guys have been working for this for a very long time, and we thank God our coming here is not in vain. We are so good. I knew we was going to qualify because we've been working and God is not by us, so I knew he was just going to do his thing for us, and here we are.
Back home, head coach of Nigeria's under-17 football team, Manu Garba, says he's fully focused on raising a team that will excel at the forthcoming WAFU under-17 championships in Ghana. Manu, while debunking stories of massive MRI test failure in his team, claims the Golden Eaglets have got all it takes to win a ticket to next year's Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations from the tournament in Ghana. Defending champions Nigeria will face Burkina Faso in their opening Group B fixture at the WAFU Under-17 Championship at the University Stadium on Thursday, May the 16th, in a repeat of 2022 final. They will then take on Niger in their second group game at the same ground on Sunday, May the 19th, before facing Togo in their last group match at the Accra Stadium on Wednesday, May the 22nd. Still on football, Rivers United will on Monday face Remo Stars in Ikene in the first match of their 5 rescheduled games of the Nigeria Premier Football League. The counter was earlier built for Sunday before the league organizers announced the rescheduling. In England, Liverpool handed Tottenham their 4th straight loss in the Premier League as their 4-2 victory at Anfield dented the top 4 hopes of the North Londoners. Aston Villa's charge to qualify for Champions League was also halted by Brighton, who recorded a 1-0 win at Amex, while Chelsea comprehensively whitewashed West Ham United 5-0 to boost their qualification hopes for Europe. With sports updates, Bade Adeleye, NTA News.
And that's Panorama this afternoon. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Good afternoon.